So we are here in Italy, Bologna, in a co-working space, Luogo Comune, with Mara di Berardo, who is chair of the Italian node of the Millennium project. Welcome to this interview and thanks for the opportunity to be here. So for the Teaming in Spaces project, I'd like to ask you some questions concerning futures of work. What do you consider as the most important skills in the future of work?
Well, many people are wondering about skills and what is needed to, improve our perspective for the future, especially in a period in which unemployment is increasing. So, if you ask a futurist, we usually say future thinking and future leadership, because this type of composed skill allow us to widen our perspective, to face the increasing speed of change, to evaluate alternative futures, to understand what we desire among what is possible. So it is a really improving skill for people. But I don't think this is sufficient. I mean, this is important. There have been many courses, high-level courses. There have been training programs for school and children. But I would add something else, like what are called soft skills or mental skills that improve the way you feel and react to things. And also, I think somehow your intelligence in approaching things, intelligence considered in different shadows, like emotional intelligence, collective intelligence, and so forth. So there are many people talking about soft skill, creativity, critical thinking, critical thinking and creativity are two of the most important ones, in my opinion, because we've been talking later on earlier about how this city, Bologna, is a place for creativity. And I think that when you're allowed to freely express your creativity, and you're also teach how to do that, because sometimes it is sort of repressed for learning a profession. Instead, if you're allowed to be creative, you experience new stuff and new ways, and you understand the reality in a different way, and also what can come, and you also invent new things, or you improve your synergetic thinking, using components in different ways. I think creativity is really important and often underestimated.
Exactly, and I'm glad you mentioned creativity because it's fertile soil for innovations and new things, as you mentioned. Then let's talk about some risks that are involved when we are creating, or when somebody is creating digital workspaces. What kind of risks do you see there? Because we see a lot of potential and promises, but there are always some risks.
Of course. Well, I think risks can be considered differently if related to organizations. If this term still applies in the future, I'm not sure. This is another term that should be monitored because the organizations are changing, but anyway. Or if you relate them to single individuals or groups of individuals. If you consider working environment, or if you consider social environment, or both, the connection of both. So maybe, of course, we should consider cybersecurity. I mean, everybody talks about it. We know that digital systems are improving. Also, the bad ways to use them and to leave them in many ways. Data protection is another important thing when you consider digital spaces. This could be in comparison to structures, but if we talk about individuals or social groups, maybe we should consider the lack of skills to understand these new environments, because the way you move into them is different. It means different perceptions. It needs to anchor yourself to what is reality and understand what is reality. I mean, it's it can be a psychological and sociological problems at the same time. And the same goes for groups, especially if you think about work and team working. Sometimes remotely working can decrease your team working. So, I mean, you need to address this possibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this kind of synergetic approach to the skills needed is very important so that we don't ignore
Yeah.
something that is exactly
And at the same time, you don't have to focus on cybersecurity and data protection and productivity evaluation through the digital system, forgetting the social and psychological side. So, I mean, a balance is always needed.
Exactly. Then I'd like to move on because we are also interested what kind of crisis there are. Some risks may grow into a crisis, but there is one category of crisis that is very interesting. It's called creeping crisis. It is a crisis that is already here in society. We don't see it, or we neglect it, we don't pay attention. Do you see any such creeping crisis that is related to the future of work or in society in general? And you mentioned the creeping crisis.
Well, I would talk about spoiler alert because the results of this analysis haven't been published yet. I will report to a part of a discussion we had during the World Future Day 2022. I can't tell you the names of the participants, but we had this big discussion about how we are more and more aware of the way technology improves our life, but we are not so much aware of how they change our the way we approach to life. We talked about stolen focus and time, that it's, in my opinion, a very important thing to consider and to address because we have this technology saving our time, but at the same time, we said they destroy our schedule. We don't have the power to define our schedule anymore.
Exactly, we somehow become prisoners.
Yeah, and time at the same time. We don't have time anymore. We don't have focus anymore. We forget things because we have technology helping us to remember things and at the same time giving us input to process 24 hours per day, 7 days per week. And so if they had pause somehow, at the same time they changing something in our life, and we should address it.
That aspect is very important because the demands for effective work and more results in a very short period of time. It's
we don't have time anymore.
Yeah, and that brings to my mind that there is a movement, slow life and slow food, that originated in Italy. And so we should need balance there as well. So,
but I don't know if this is enough anyway, because I mean, we can have a sort of slowdown, but it should be like agreed, collective. I don't know, a sort of procedural way co-defined with experts, sociologists, psychologists, and so forth. Otherwise, it's just me unplugging while the world keeps going on. And when I replug myself, I need to update. I mean, and it's even more stressful. Digital stress can be really difficult to address. So we should find a way to balance the speed of life, because speed is increasing, the speed of change is increasing, and so forth. But at the same time, we need to reason on what we do, because we don't take our time to process things anymore. And that's why we forget things. So that's why we are losing our way even to imagine things. Because for imagination to be, pushed and to increase, you have to take your time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's really serious.
Yeah.
Then I'd like to ask you personally, what is your favorite workspace? What is your ideal of a workspace space where you work and feel that your well-being and also your motivation is very much at a good place?
Now, because things change, I like to work at home. But I think I always like to work at home because I can, follow my own time path. I can define when and where. I can work for 10 hours in a day, maybe 5 the next day. I can conciliate my personal needs, like, I don't know, making a medical visit. You cannot really do that. I mean, if you don't have some social security rights in the place of work. So I like to work at home, but at the same time, I feel the pressure of digital stress. I mean, being connected, especially when you work in a worldwide environment like we do with the Millennium project, because I keep receiving mails, I keep receiving messages, and but over the years, I've learned to, balance and take my time and process things in the right speed. I mean, if you are in a rush, you do that. If you're not, you take your time and maybe, decide not to take the job because you need to, get slower. I worked in many different environments, public, private offices, and I fear sometimes that in Italy, the bureaucratic organization, it's too, I don't know,
Rigid or
it imposes too much, and it doesn't really have the flexibility to understand your way.
Yeah, I can relate to your feelings, and flexibility and freedom seem to be very important elements.
And also autonomy in doing what you do.
Exactly.
And in my case, also changing the things I do, because otherwise, I need to learn. Learning really motivates
It's
me.
more inspiring.
Yeah.
And to conclude, in our project Evening Spaces, I'm also looking for what kind of paradoxes there are at the moment when we think about the concept of work. I used to do that some decades ago, 10 paradoxes concerning the future of work. I'm going to have a relook at them, but now we are in a new situation with AI technology and working increasing a lot. But what kind of paradox you would like to mention or here as a conclusion that you see concerning the future of work?
This is one I've been feeling for a while now, even before the pandemics. I think that, while people and the pandemics accelerated this, while people are going towards self-actualization, like, they're taking their time, following their path, doing what they like, they have been, feeling this desire again. The system is not, supporting the transition toward that. So new generation are showing us that. Because they leave jobs, they don't even work anymore, they don't see the reason, because the old concept of work doesn't apply anymore. And at the same time, we have feelings of a new concept, but the system has not defined it yet, which means supporting it. Yeah, so we still have the old concept of job where you do that, you work because you need it, you work because you have to, you work because you need well-being, you need to assure your old age. But this is not assured anymore. Because the economic systems change. You don't have a retirement anymore. You can really count on it. You don't have a job, you can't really have a job that, one job assuring you your well-being, because you have to do 3 jobs to support your family. So while your security is changing in terms of work, and you feel that this does not represent you anymore, at the same time you wish to do something good, you wish to do something nice, you wish to pursue your passion, and maybe make your passion become your job. But you cannot do
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, not at the moment.
So this
there
is a paradox. We
yeah.
are in the transition, and I see that for the few years coming.
Exactly,
Still.
there is a gap we have to bridge, and this reminds, of course, us of one of the scenarios in Millennium Project, Future Work and Technology report, self-actualization.
Self-realization economy. And another thing I would report there is that values are changing. Somehow the study by the Millennium Project showed us that, and one of the suggestions reported in the study is that companies and workers need to create some different added values, aesthetic, cultural, and so forth, not only material and economical values.
Exactly, emphasis is moving from material
Value
to immaterial.
Yeah, so value in terms of what you create and what you do, but values in a societal way. Our values are changing, and we are not reasoning that at the moment.
Exactly. So that is exactly related to the concept of work as a sense of meaningfulness in your life.
Absolutely. Also in relation to the global situation,
Exactly.
young people want to do something for our global challenge.
Yes,
I mean, they are,
bubble.
yeah, and they don't see the system doing that. I mean, big companies pursue objectives, for instance, for the environment and the climate change just because they have to, because they are pressed to do
Not because they want to.
Yeah, while young people want to do something meaningful, both for them, for their passions, and for the society in general.
Exactly.
This is very important. We should use it very much and push it and support it somehow.
Exactly. So thank you very much, Mara di Berardo, for this interview.
Thank you. It's been very nice to meet you here in Bologna.
Thank you.